Guys, getting in the green. We're going to recap a little Week 3 NFL and give a quick little look ahead to Week 4. Um, we got the good, the bad, and the really bad from last week. So
Yeah.
let's start with the really bad. I'll throw out Hawkinson.
Yeah, he killed us.
Fucking A, man. What a waste. That guy, 2 targets, 2 receptions, like 10 yards or something, I believe. That one hurt. Didn't see it coming. They were down most of that game. Obviously, they came back and then had the heartbreaking loss. But, why he didn't get the targets, I'm not sure. He ran the same amount of routes.
Yeah. Just one of those games.
Yeah, so I was all in on Hawkinson at tight end. I didn't play too many other guys, so that one hurt.
Yeah. That one hurt me. I had him in probably 75% of my lineups. To get a 3 from your tight end, especially spent up a little bit on that. That hurts. Kind of set a bad tone for the entire lineup there. That was one of the biggest misses of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Highlights, pretty much 3 big highlights for us, for me at least, was Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
He was a must-play for us. Didn't disappoint. Played like he always does and crushed it for us.
Averaging 30 points a game.
Second one was I had a lot of Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep.
Great bounce back at his price. He is already priced $1,000 more this week. We've got to take a hard look at that, but we liked the matchup. Even though he gave us a heart attack when he fumbled, and we thought he might be benched again, but actually ended up having a really solid game. And the last one is we nailed our defenses, which is an underrated part of DraftKings. It was very big. Basically, the 3 defenses we played, I played Denver Broncos, played the Cleveland Browns, and then for our cheaper lineups, we played the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
All 3 were in the top 5, top 6 defenses on the week. That was huge.
The Bengals and the Browns got you 6x for value.
Yeah.
And the Broncos was 4 to 5x, and they were the one you were going to pay up for. Anytime you nail the defenses like that, just huge booster to your lineup, and you kind of get that.
Yeah.
That little buffer for, when the tight end doesn't work out and you still kind of end up right
it's
there.
It's huge for me in my 50-50s. I didn't do great in the tournaments. We just didn't get enough right. 50-50s, that was definitely a huge reason. Him and then Kupp being one of the highest scorers.
Yeah.
It's a big reason I was able to get in the money. You know what? Let's talk about medium-sized misses that were very disappointing because the potential was there. Daniel Jones. I played a lot of Daniel Jones. I think he ended up with 16 or 17.
This isn't terrible for what he cost.
Not terrible for the cost. It's just if you watch that game,
yeah, so many opportunities.
He looked great. They were in the red zone at first. He actually was moving the ball. He got 0 touchdowns. Yeah. He lost Shepard. He lost Slayton.
Yep.
And Galladay was banged up. I think we were still kind of right on. If he would have gotten 1 or 2 touchdowns, he would have crushed it. But he ended up with 16 and a half. Not terrible, but I was definitely overexposed on that, and wasn't necessarily able to capitalize it on the money difference spending elsewhere.
Yeah, one for me was Rondell Moore.
Yeah.
Didn't get it done. Weird game flow there. I mean, there's not too many games where you're going to see Kyler Murray not throw for a touchdown. We lost that on our props, too. We had Kyler for 2 touchdowns. But, he runs one in. You get piked by James Conner twice.
Yeah.
And then a defensive touchdown, and it's just how the game went.
It's another moderate letdown for us was our Kyler Murray lineups.
Yeah.
Where,
he just didn't score enough.
Yeah, he didn't score nearly enough. Didn't end up killing you. He at least, for a little while, it looked like he might kill you, but ended up at least having an okay game. But for the price, was not worth it, especially with what you had to do. And then I stacked more with a lot of the Murray lineups, so it was really in an uphill battle there.
Yeah, the stacks just didn't work out. We had Moore and Murray. Then we have Shepard and Jones. And, injuries are injuries, but both those stacks kind of just
fell apart
laid an egg. I hope you guys did listen, though, and stack with Josh Allen a little bit. So that definitely
was huge.
Saved me a little bit. I had a good stack with him. So Josh Allen was optimal quarterback this week.
Yep.
He was in a blow-up spot, and I believe he's $1,000 more this week, but he's definitely on the radar again. Weak Houston team they're playing. I like some Josh Allen again this week. I haven't looked too deep into it yet, but
then we had Tom had a pretty good game.
Yep.
Definitely had a solid fantasy game. Godwin kind of was a moderate, did what he was expecting. He didn't screw us, had a good game. I was a little higher on him, was a little disappointed. I thought he was going to have a better game.
Yeah.
But I think he got us in the end zone. He got a decent amount of catches, not a bad game. So that stack did work out for me.
Higbee ended up paying off if you gave him a second chance after week 2.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there were some running backs that just absolutely went off this week, and you just couldn't see it coming. Najee Harris is obviously the one everyone's going to talk about. 19 targets, 14 receptions.
Yep.
It might be the norm. They can't throw the ball down the field. I mean, the checkdowns to this guy are going to be plentiful. And then James Robinson's the other one who
couldn't have seen that one coming.
Yeah, miraculously got pushed back into the starting lineup somehow.
Had a great game
against
got some catches.
Arizona. So
another one that I'm gonna call us out on a miss, and I actually did play a little bit of him, was Matson for Minnesota, and
I don't know if he's a miss though.
You know what? Here's why I say it's a miss for us, because we thought he was priced too much at 6,000, considering the Dalvin Cook injury. A lot of times when there's an injury, you get him at 4,000, something like that. It was a great matchup.
Oh, yeah.
At 6,000, you still got great value. I had him in only 1 or 2 lineups. I should have been heavier on him because of the game flow situation. I was a little scared off that you were getting a backup at 6,000 instead of 4,000, but should have been higher. I'm calling that as a little bit of a miss on our end.
Yeah, and he'll be in play again this week if Cook can't go again.
And he looks good. He looks just as good as Cook. You're getting a Dalvin Cook-like force for still a significant discount. So if Cook can't go, we were very excited there.
Barkley paid off if you gave him a chance. Looked pretty good. And then, let's go running backs, though. We did nail the running back of the week, which was Eckler.
Yep, he came through big for us. He was in 99% of my lineup, so I needed that, and it did work out.
Yeah, big game for him. I will say, the end of the game usage for him really, scared me a little bit here moving forward. They're at the 1-yard line. 3 plays in a row, they don't look at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, another touchdown there, and this guy is, he's optimal for the week, and it's interesting. I really want to see how they play it moving forward. We don't have to deal with it this week with the main slate. I think they're the Monday night game.
Yep.
But Eckler, he's a beast, man. So many passes, so many catches. That hybrid running back, that's what you're looking at now in the NFL. And
exactly. Closest thing you can get to Christian McCaffrey at a discount. So,
yeah, let's run through some. Speaking of McCaffrey, man, let's just run through some big injuries this week.
There was some big ones.
We're gonna have to look at some backups. We're gonna have to look at some some fill-in roles here. But we had McCaffrey go down.
Yep.
Carolina also loses number 1 draft pick Jace Horn.
Mm-hmm.
So that defense is gonna take a hit there.
Yep.
They got a tough matchup at Dallas. Shepard, watch his injury. Let's see who's actually going to play for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pittsburgh got brutalized again. Juju might not play. Don't think Deontay Johnson's coming back. So, yeah, these are we're talking, monster fantasy guys that are just out immediately. Yep. James White's out indefinitely. Yeah. Also, that guy's injury is serious.
Yep.
Hip injury might not come back this year.
AJ Brown,
hamstring
week to week. It's not looking like he's going to play next week.
Yeah.
I know he'd been a little bit of disappointment or big disappointment up to this point, but still significant if you had draft capital on him, or if you're maybe looking at Julio now in daily. It's a very significant injury.
Yeah, definitely. And we had the scare with Saquon, but he came back out.
Yep.
So that was big. But yeah, look, when these guys go down, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Chicago, I think Justin Fields hurt his hand at the end of that game, so we're gonna see who ends up starting there. But you run risk, so you don't want to be overexposed on anybody. You always have the risk of injury here in the NFL, and this year seems a little more prevalent than previous years. They're just dropping down.
Yeah.
We get the little notifications on the phone as the games roll, and they start rolling in pretty quick there sometimes.
Yep.
When it rains, it pours. But, yeah, look, Mike Williams is another one I think we should have just been on heavier. And it's hard to buy that guy's hype after years and years of the same thing, but
He looks for
good.
real. He looks for
good.
real. Obviously, he's always had the talent and the size, but he's just looking like he has that legitimate rapport with Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
If he can stay healthy, I don't necessarily see him scoring 2 touchdowns every game, but I don't think the general production is going to drop off. I think he's going to get 8-9 targets a game. He's going to end up with 5-6 catches and good amount of yards. Chargers offense is looking pretty good, and he's a steal if you got him in drafts, and we're going to have to start taking some serious consideration for him in daily. He was kind of a similar situation to Mattson for me, where it was, I didn't think he was going to have a bad game by any means, but I thought he was being priced at his kind of ceiling or value as opposed to being some of that floor. But you know what? His floor is rapidly rising, and maybe he's just a guy we need to get in the lineup. So
next week, pretty shitty Thursday night game for showdown slates. We got Jacksonville, Cincinnati. There'll be some opportunity there, but main slate. We're at that point now where guys' values are accurate.
Yep.
You're not gonna slide down to 3,000 and find these wide receivers that you can plug and play to make your lineups work. This is really when you're gonna want to get into understanding, target share percentages, routes run.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go a little deeper here because the blatantly obvious value plays outside of injuries happening midweek, those are kind of gone now. So now it's time to really dive in.
Let's talk about some games you are looking forward to or looking in next week. First one that sticks out to me is going to be the Bills-Texans. And the performance Josh Allen put on, he's playing even with more improved than we thought preseason. Texans should have an absolute field day. The biggest concern with Josh Allen are some of the rushing touchdowns going to be scored by the running backs before the lead is so big that he's going to go to the bench. But otherwise, he should do whatever he wants, be one of the top fantasy scorers. We love him. Obviously, it's going to be a one-sided game. Let's go to a game that I think is going to be a little bit more of a shootout. Both take place in the NFC West for me. It's going to be Cardinals-Rams and Seahawks-49ers.
Mm-hmm.
I like both those games. I see value, especially Rams-Cardinals. I think those offenses are just damn good, can't be stopped. Even if, similar to the Tampa Bay game, one of the teams, like the Rams, gets a lead, they're too talented, even in some garbage time, to not come back and put up some fantasy points.
And the good thing when you play those Ram games is you can't run on them, so it's just a constant throwing battle happening. And then Seahawks-Niners is going to be a shootout.
Yep.
The game, especially after watching Monday night, Chiefs-Eagles, I think, is going to go under the radar as far as ownership projections go. The Eagles could not stop that Dallas passing attack or rushing attack. If you see some ownership projections come in low on the Chiefs players, I mean, they could absolutely go off in this game.
And you're talking about a pissed-off Chiefs team. A Chiefs team that's 1-2 that could probably be 0-3 and is supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. They, I think, are going to come out here and make a statement and really put a beating on the Eagles and score 40 points, in this game.
Yeah. One player definitely want to point out is this might be the week you just have to pay up for Derrick Henry. I don't think he didn't pay off with the touchdown last week, but
didn't have a bad game, but didn't. He was a couple goal line touchdowns away from having a monster game.
Exactly. And look, they've clearly realized that 30 touches a game for that guy is their
recipe for success. Yeah.
You got the Jets. They suck. They turn the ball over. You're going to be in prime positions all day. You got A.J. Brown hurt. This might just be a 50-er for Derrick Henry. He might just go off here in this matchup.
Yep.
So I'll be paying up for Derrick Henry a lot. The one who I thought had a bounce-back game was Kamara.
Yeah, he looked good.
But, God, he just didn't score that great.
He got like 20 points, got a touchdown, and the thing that's holding him back is he's just not getting the volume in the passing game like we would have assumed from an Alvin Kamara. He Normally with Drew Brees, we had him in the the CMC Eckler category of 6-7 catches a game, and he's getting 2 or 3 targets and 2 or 3 catches a game, which is just not quite the volume we need to make him a superstar.
Yeah, and then one of the games, I think it has one of the highest implied totals, is Cleveland, Minnesota.
Yep.
I got to dive a little deeper, get a better read on that game, but...
Yeah, you know what? Props to Minnesota, not just for beating Seattle, but, they were in it, and they could be 3-0. They really could. And Kirk Cousins looks damn good.
He's getting it done.
Underrated fantasy guy. In some of the leagues that I took quarterbacks late, I've been actively trying to trade for Kirk Cousins, or if he was on the waiver, pick him up, because I think this guy's going to be a top 5 finish at the end of the year. He's that good right now. He's got the weapons.
Yeah.
He's got amazing receivers, tight ends starting to show himself, amazing running backs even when Dalvin Cook's hurt. Defense isn't great, so he's throwing a lot, and he's getting it done. So excited to see them versus the Browns. Obviously, the Browns defense had a dominant performance there.
It's going to get blown a little out of proportion.
Yep.
There's going to be some value there. Also, Odell Beckham and the Browns dominated that game. Mm-hmm. Saw massive volume without Landry.
Yeah, he looks good.
Looked quick.
He did look good.
He's pretty cheap this week. So, look, we'll dive into all that stuff, and we'll get you guys some good analysis here on Thursday. Anything else?
Yeah. Cut before that.
Yeah. Noah.
The fuck?
What happened?
Did you guys read the John Jones report?
Bro, we're not having our basketball draft right now, right?
No.
Okay, good.
What?
Because Cam just texted me, you're up to pick 1 through 7 are gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
pick your
because we
spot.
just pick our spot because I'm the 8th.
Yeah.
You do 8th best and
Got it. Now he's trying to trade me Antonio Brown for Mike Williams.
who is?
Cam. This thing's still running.